Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. So I wanted to ask you, do you know about water? And well, first of all, really, do you even really think about water? Our bodies are majority water. I've heard anywhere from 60% to 70%. I know as a kid, they used to say like 80%. Of course, some organs and stuff are up to 80% water. You can Google this and see what percentages, but we're majority made of water, okay? And water definitely has some unique characteristics. So I wanted to bring this up and ask you, do you know about water? Like, for instance, let's say, actually, this is a video, if you're more scientifically driven, more analytical, logical, and all that stuff, kind of along the lines of the near-death experiences video I was talking about. This is kind of where science meets what we don't see, in a way. But, water is unique. Like, for instance, when it freezes, it expands, unlike other molecules. And when it heats, it actually shrinks, which is the opposite of what other molecules do. The vibrations, the atoms, the electrons, the movements usually get slower, and it condenses when it freezes. But water is the opposite. It actually expands, which is very unique. We're made up, like I said, the majority of water is what makes our bodies, our physical bodies. And one thing that I became aware of probably about 15 years ago, but really it's, it was a Japanese guy by the name of I wrote it down just so I don't, and I'm going to still mess it up. Masaru Emoto. It's M as in Marvin, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, R as in Robert, U as in Umbrella. Masaru, and then Emoto, Emoto. And you can look it up on YouTube or Google him or whatever. But it's very interesting. He wrote books, and actually he even had stuff published, I think around, about 15 or so years ago at least, in a scientific journal. And now it's funny because when you look up his name on Wikipedia, they call him pseudoscientist, and what pops up kind of first is calling him pseudoscientist. But I've found that really you can't trust what Wikipedia has. Okay, first of all, you can't trust what Wikipedia has. I did a video about Neville Goddard, I think on the intro playlist, that it was proven what it used to show and then what it does show, and they were complete opposites. Anyways. So the thing is there are rulers of darkness who uses agents, people, to do their dirty work, okay? And it's just it was flesh nature, I would say human nature, to, people with power and money don't want to give up their power and money. And there are very influential people in the world who don't have your best interests at heart, okay? And unfortunately, it just feels like there's more people who think that way. There's more self-centered and without integrity than when I was a kid, but maybe it's just perception. But anyways, getting back to the topic here, water. So there's Masaru Emoto. He made a connection with how water reacts to our consciousness, our feelings, our intentions. And you may have heard about him before, may have heard about this before. Like I said, it's been around. Like, he wrote a book almost, I think, 20 years ago. So it's been around for a while, but you may not have heard. I don't think most people have actually heard of this. And he did many of experiments, and highly encourage you to just Google here on YouTube, watch a video about him and his experiments. But what he would do is, like, he had a rice experiment where he had a jar full of water and rice, 2 jars actually, and he labeled them, okay, like one with love and one with hate, for example. Now, he had many different experiments. And so every day he would grab the one with love and intentionally, you have to, like I called your emotions is the fuel. You can't just say the word. You have to have that intention, that feeling. You have to feel it. Like really feel just love and appreciation. So it may take, I think he was doing it for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, like to really get in that zone and bring those emotions up, to really have that intention of that jar with love. I love you, I love you, I love you, like whatever. And then the one with hate for about 10 or so minutes, but you have to have that feeling, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And kept and with that intention and feeling towards it. And it's amazing what his results were, because his results depended on if it was positive like love or if it was negative like hate. It would be the most white, puffy, beautiful looking rice, or just a black, almost moldy, nasty looking rice. Okay? He did experiments where he had different words. And again, every day would say that word with that feeling and that intention towards it. And he had it all separated, like containers or whatever of water. And then after, I don't know, 30 days or so or whatever his experiment, I think you watch them, but he would freeze them, and the actual molecules, the crystals that they would form, were dependent on what feeling was associated with it. Okay? And this is amazing. It's beautiful. Just check it out. Even if you're curious, don't believe it, just check it out. But the ones that were more positive, you would say, like love and beautiful and all that stuff, each had its own different like look, but those were beautiful, geometric, perfect crystals. Because he would freeze them so that it would stay in place. So then he could look at it under a microscope. And the ones with you would say the negatives were just all mumbled and jumbled and just nasty looking. No organization, no geometry, no symmetry, no, it was nasty. And that was just based off of intention, your feeling. Okay? And this is very important, because and actually I'll challenge you at the end of this video to try this out yourself. But when you think that our physical bodies are majority water, and if the way we feel and the way we think and our intentions affect that water inside of us, it affects your health, affects your body. And I know I've heard this throughout my life, like on some certain level, like, thoughts are important and everything, but they really are. And when you understand that what we are is our emotions, our thoughts, our intentions, the things you don't see, that's eternal. That's what we really are, not our physical bodies that are temporary and die. Okay? But when you and you really understand that, then you really see that connection. Okay? Like I've mentioned before, one of the biggest things that God did in my life was over 2.5 years ago. It was really the connections. Instead of looking at everything separate and on its own, it was really the connections he was showing me that just went mind-blowing, and it really changed everything. Okay? But anyways, I've talked about that. But water, water, of course, like even science knows life doesn't exist where there's no water. Like when they look at planets and they look for life out in like the galaxies and solar systems or whatever, they're looking for water. Like the Mars rovers and all that stuff. Water is important and it's very unique. And really, it's interesting just to check it out. Like, well, I've watched a couple of documentaries. I think it was one. It was called Water. I don't know if it's called the Spirit Molecule or the Amazing something. There's a few documentaries that go over this really. But specifically, like if you want to get to like what I'm talking about, really in this video, a good place to start is just looking up Masaru Emoto right here on YouTube and watch a video about it, because it's very, very important. And that's, like everyone, there's people that say, positive thinking is important. Stay positive. Even the medical field, they know that people heal better and things happen when they have a positive attitude and they're surrounded by people that love them and have a positive attitude. Like the medical industry field knows this. Okay? I don't know if it's really official because, again, you can't just blindly trust people because you don't know their intentions. You don't know what's inside. Okay? You can see the fruits that the tree bears, but if they're clouded in dishonesty, okay, and I think maybe more people are coming to terms with that because it can be unsettling. It could be fearful if not trusting the official people that are supposed to be responsible for that. Okay, with our intentions at heart. But when it comes to selfishness, and the people with power right now, they don't want to give up power. So if there's anything that threatens power, like for example, just think about this. If water was that important, it has memory, and actually another one, Masaru Emoto talked about, it has memory. That was part of this experiment. And if water has memory, in the way we treat water, we, not to be disgusting, but we piss in it, we crap in it, we throw trash in it, all of our garbage in it, and then we think we can make it clean, which it's not like that. Like even pharmaceuticals that go through our body, it's known that it goes in our water, and people who don't even take those pharmaceuticals get those particles or whatever molecules in their bodies, have it in their bodies. Like, we need to treat water better. If you think a couple hundred, maybe even just 100 years ago, you could almost drink from any, from a pond, from a lake. You can't really do that now. And it's not good. Just thinking about it on that terms, this is an environmental part. Pollution's bad. We treat our water, which is our life, we need that to live, pretty badly. And it's a miracle, the filtration system that God created, where it literally evaporates and leaves all the impurities below. But we've gotten so much into chemistry and messed with such stuff so much that we can't stop God's work, but we make it worse on ourselves. Okay? Anyways, that's kind of a different video. But water, definitely look into it, because, I can tell you about this stuff, but really, unless you really do your own homework, you really don't know. But I highly encourage you to look up Masaru Emoto. He passed away about 2014, I think. But his work's been around for like a quarter of a century. And you won't hear about it because it will completely flip the scientific, like all these industries and what people make money off of, it would flip it upside down. Okay? If it was officially recognized. But again, and so I want to challenge you. Like I said, I have a little challenge. You can just do this at home. That's the thing. Actually, I would recommend watching a video to kind of see yourself. But basically, Like you can do it with a plant. You can do it with a plant. It has to be something that it absorbs like water, like uses water, okay? Because water is what is doing the reaction, okay? But you also have to really feel it, like when you have with intention directed at that specimen, that jar of water with rice, or that plant, or whatever. But there's many different experiments that he did, and I would encourage you to try one. Just try it. Try it out. And because you can see yourself. No matter what these officials will tell you, you can literally pretty easily do it yourself. And it's interesting to see the results. Like, anyway, so I challenge you. I encourage you to do this. Now, this is not just something as easy as the other challenges I put out there, but it doesn't take much effort, just a little effort, but a little bit more effort than my usual challenges. But go ahead and try it and see your own results for yourself, and then that way you know. But check them out. Check this out, because water is very special, and we treat it like crap. Most of us treat it like crap. I know. Really, most of my life, I really didn't give a thought about it. So, that's why I wanted to ask you, do you know about water? Like, basically, do you ever think about really water? Because our bodies are majority water. But enough of this. The video is long enough. If you like the video, please comment below. And especially if you know about this, maybe you've already done this experiment. Please, I would love to hear your feedback and everything below in the comments. And if you like the video, thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Ring-a-ding-a-ling that bell for notifications to let you know when I upload videos. And as always, stay strong and God bless.